Howdy, development practitioners. I'm Debbie Spindleman, an alumni from the class of 2013. I also spent 3 years in the MDP Management Team as our first practice manager, the role that's so masterfully filled today by my fellow alumna, Kendall Stewart. In that role, I had the privilege of mentoring over 150 emerging practitioners, where we were crafting career strategies and thinking reflectively about their experiences, applying what they learned into the real world. I had hundreds of conversations with incoming students, and there was a theme that popped up repeatedly. Practitioners came in with 2 or 3 interests or skill sets that seemed totally divergent to them. So development finance and gender, or technology and soil science. MDPs came to me looking for guidance about which of those interests they should pursue, with the implication that, of course, you had to choose one and stick with it. The cool thing about working in sustainable development, though, is that the landscape is so dynamic, and the roots of poverty and inequality are so intertwined. There are entire fields that exist now that weren't there 20 years ago. Think ICT for ag or mobile money. So when those threads of interest intersect, and it's definitely when, not if, development practitioners who have followed their hearts and developed their talents find themselves right at that intersection as a right person at the right time. They're MDP alumni, my colleagues, who are killing it at these intersections all over the world today. These days, I'm in the United Kingdom and pursuing PhD research at the University of Sussex. I'm looking at the special educational needs of learners who are affected by stunting, and I'm curious about what we need to know about those needs in order to make education work for the hundreds of millions of students around the world whose first 1,000 days of life shouldn't define their capabilities for the rest of their lives. I came to SEPA and the MPADP program with several years of experience in the fields of education, of disability inclusion, and capacity development. In Professor Glenn Denning's legendary food systems class, I learned about stunting for the first time and its long-term effects on cognitive development. Like a lot of MPADPs, I wasn't sure how or where my background and interests might converge, until they did. So I invite you to think about it. What aspects of sustainable development inspire you the most? What's interesting? What makes you come alive? As I told multiple cohorts of MDP students as practice manager, my advice is to keep running after it. Keep acquiring valuable new skills in those areas of deepest enthusiasm, and you'll be ready to be part of the solution when those threads finally converge. Stay curious.